So when we want to draw a stem and leaf diagram that's back to back, it means that we want to put two sets of information on the same stem and leaf diagram. Now those sets of information always have the same units. So for example here, we are going to do a back-to-back stem and leaf of examination marks for different subjects of a particular class. So it's the same thing, it's just two different sets of information that we put on a back-to-back stem and leaf because we want to be able to compare the different data that we have. So if I'm going to do the stem and leaf for French and for English, for all those marks that I'm given, just like our other stem and leaves, the first thing we need to do is we need to put them in numerical order. So we arrange our French from lowest mark to highest mark, and then our English from lowest mark to highest mark. Then for our back-to-back, we draw two straight lines in the middle. Okay, and then that'll be our stem. And just like before, since we're only dealing with two numbers here, we're going to put the first one in the middle, and then we put the second number on the sides. So if we look here, we have got our lowest mark being 23, and our highest mark being 61, then our lowest mark for English 41, and our highest mark as 92. So I need to go from at least 2 all the way up to 9. So when we're doing our stem and leaf, we always have to go in numerical order, even if there's nothing there for us to show. So I start from 1, and then I go down all the way to 9. Okay, and then I put the one set of information on the left-hand side and the other set on the right. So I'm not specifically told here which set can go where, so that is up to you, okay? But if I am told that a specific set must go on the left, I have to put it there, otherwise you will lose marks. So if I say French is now going to go on the left, the first thing I have to do is I have to then label that the left-hand side is going to be for French, and that means that the right-hand side is going to be for English, okay? And then I look at my French marks and I place them on my stem and leaf exactly the same way as we did the last one. So in the 20s, underneath 2, my first one is going to be 3, and then I leave a little space to put the next one of 9. That's it for the 20s, so then I move to the 30s. So then I have 31, 34, 36, and 37. Then I move to the 40s, so I have 42, and then another 42, so remember we put the same number again, and then 43, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Then under the 50s, I have 4, 5, 5, 5, remember always the same number if it's there, 7. Then under the 60s, I have to include that 0, so the 0 goes there, and 1. Then those are all my marks for French, and you see that they're all in nice straight lines, one under the other, with a gap in between, so you can see that they're separate. So then if we move on to the English numbers, so English only starts in the 40s, so you're going to leave 1, 2, 3 blank, and then you start where number 4 is, with our first one of 41. Okay, so you saw, for when I did French, you work backwards. So you go starting with the closest, and you go numerically to the left. Now for English, I'm going to work forward, so I'm going to start where that is, and then I'm going to work to the right. So 41, and then 43. Then I move to the 50s, and I have 52, 52, 57, 58 and 59. 60s, I have 60, then 64, then 65, then 70s, 71, 4, 4, and 4, and then 9 and 9. 80s, I have 80, 84, and 86, and then 90s, I just have 92. Okay, so now I've drawn my stem and leaf, one going to the left and one going to the right, and now I need to write down a key. So just like before, we're going to choose any specific branch, okay, but now in the key, you have to take both sides. So if I want to take this line, I need to take that side and that side. So if I write it down as my key, I now need to have all three numbers. So I say 2, line 4, line 1, and that represents 42 marks for French. Okay, because I'm reading it backwards, I'm going 42 marks for French and 41 marks for English. So because now I'm reading that side forwards. So we write it in exactly the same order and we show which one is being read backwards and which one is being read forwards. Okay, so now as I said earlier, this whole thing is for comparison between two sets of information. So if I'm asked about explaining the comparison for this stem and leaf, what this is showing us, if you look at the whole thing, English marks are much higher than the French marks. And you can see that they're a little bit more spread out, whereas the French marks are all concentrated around one area, whereas English is spread. Okay, so we can say that our highest mark for English was much higher than our highest mark for French. The same with the lowest mark for English being higher than that of French. And those are the kinds of things that I'm going to compare when I do my back-to-back stem and leaf. Okay.